never think that this would happen until it happens to you. I was cooking dinner one night when I saw this rash on my arm. My skin can get really irritated sometimes, and I thought nothing of it.
It smells delicious. What's that in your arm?
Oh, it's just some rash I woke up with. It's been itching all day.
It's weird, I have the same thing on my arm too. At first, neither of us thought anything of it, but then it got worse. The next day I woke to find my body covered with red bumps, and so did Cindy. That's when I thought that something might not be right.
You just go about living your life and don't think that one could ever get bed bugs. It just seems like something completely unreal.
Bed bugs are blood-feeding insects that hatch out of eggs and go through different stages. And through each stage, in order to grow, they have to have a blood meal. And that blood meal could be on a person, it could be on a rodent like a rat or a mouse, or it could be on one of your pets.
What we saw was mostly bites on their arms, but they seem to gravitate towards warm spots in the creases of your elbows or around your wrists, or areas that are warmer.
Bed bugs are very, very tiny insects. Sometimes they look, before they've had a meal, the size of a pinhead, and then they grow once they've had a blood meal. And I would suggest that you look at the internet, look under bed bug photographs.
They look, what I remember, tick-like but smaller, and they can be anything from the size of a pinhead to about the size of a normal sized tick. And they're a little prehistoric looking in my opinion.
Cave?
Yes?
I think we have bed bugs.
Why would you say such a thing like that?
I looked it up online, and we have all the classic symptoms. Look.
Are you sure?
It's exactly the same.
I don't know. All you think about is, how did this happen? Where could I have gotten them? It's just not something you ever want to think about.
Bed bugs are great hitchhikers, so it's very easy to get them if they're around. They can hitchhike onto your clothing, they can hitchhike onto luggage, and you might not know it if they're infants, very small, before they've had their feedings, that you may not even see it.
Hi. Yes, Alexa? I think we have bed bugs. Is there any way you could tell me if we have bed bugs over the phone? Okay. Well, can you please send someone over soon? Alright, thanks. See you soon.
You can't really tell people you have bed bugs because all of a sudden your friends are looking at you like you're some leper that you shouldn't be near.
I think there's a negative connotation to bed bugs that is because you're dirty. And it really has nothing to do with that. They've been in the best hotels, they've been in the most, spectacular theaters, they've been in, right now they're in the United Nations building. They're all over, so it's not a sign of dirty, but you also don't want to have the client feel like that.
What do you do now? Keep living your life? Well, that's kind of hard to do. You have to make sure that you really have been infested.
We've had times when it was a false alarm and it wound up being a beetle, and we don't want to throw everything out because we have a beetle in the house.
If a staff member is going to a home where they suspect there are bed bugs, I would be careful not to sit on cloth couches and chairs. If they could sit on a wooden chair and hang their coat on a wooden chair, not lay it down on a couch, therefore they won't become a transporter of bed bugs.
I've just inspected the rest of the area, and maybe you may have a problem. Can I see your arm, please?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that really does look like bite marks that I've seen before that represent bed bugs. Okay, don't worry about it though. We're going to take care of it, and we're going to get it all taken care of for you.
You give people tools to do pest control or bed bug control without proper training, and you're not going to get proper results. For example, if you're putting a pesticide into a light switch socket, you would not want to use a liquid. You'd cause a fire, so you use a insecticide dust.
No, I didn't have to throw away my clothes. I had them all dry clean, including my pillows. And our mattress and box springs had small rips in them, so we decided to purchase new ones. And since we don't know where we got them, we've learned to be more aware and take reasonable precautions suggested by the exterminator. It's a financial burden that you just have to take, and now we take very good care of our home and keep things very tidy to eliminate getting the critters again.
Some people think that you have to throw the furniture out. Totally unnecessary. Professional pest management company can get rid of the bed bugs with the furniture still there.
We are now implementing, actually we started a month or so ago, implementing a training program that the agency has put together. We developed a policy and procedure that we are handing out to staff.
One of the good things to do is when you come home is to take your clothes off and put them, without washing them, directly into a dryer. So we're suggesting you put dry clothes into a dryer and heat it up to 140 degrees for 30 minutes. And by doing that, you'll be assured you're not bringing anything home with you.
It's been a huge hassle dealing with all of this. People treat you differently and act weird when they come into your home, but it's changed how we live our lives. You can't just stay indoors and never leave your house. You can go out to the movies in the mall, but now we have some precautions we do so we don't get bed bugs again.
There's just a lot of fear, and especially now with it so heightened in the media and so forth, that people need to be aware. They need to be educated on how to deal with them and how to recognize them and how to prevent them as much as possible.
People are fearful of bed bugs. They're worried about them, they're concerned about them, but the real good news is that bed bugs there's no evidence that bed bugs are transmitting diseases. So we don't have to worry about being sick or getting some disease or something like that. They're just real yucky, and we don't want to move them around, and we don't want them on us or in our homes.